I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's live. Go ahead.
All right, I will call the August 12th, 2024 Wyoming School Board meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and then we will move to a roll call of board members, starting with Director Christensen.
Laurel Christensen,
Matt Semple.
John Odegaard,
Jeremy LeBlanc.
Amanda Lacey, Sonia Peterson.
Ron Winter.
thank you. And tonight's meeting agenda, we should all have a copy of. I'm not aware of any additions or corrections. Does anyone have any comments regarding that? If not, I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion by LeBlanc to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do I have a volunteer to read the Wyoming mission statement tonight?
I can do it.
Thank you.
Our mission is to provide a caring environment of high expectations that prepares every student for a successful future and instills the value of learning.
Thank you. And the public address to the Board of Education, I don't see anyone here wishing to speak that's not on the agenda. Moving to a consent agenda, items 1 through 4 would be the meeting minutes from July 8th, 2024, payment for claims, the finance report, and the preliminary enrollment report. Questions on any of those? If not, I need a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. That moves us to reports, starting with Mrs. Hanson.
I got it.
We're just very efficient.
Good. All right, well, good evening, everyone. I just have a few things. First of all, staffing updates. Currently, as of 5 minutes ago, everything at Burt Rainey is filled except for our social worker position, and we're interviewing for that this week. And I am still looking for a 3-day, 3 days a week para. Other than that, we are sitting good. And we have a couple candidates for social worker, and so some of those are actually going to be done tomorrow. Kindergarten camp, you may recall from years prior, we run a kindergarten camp for incoming kindergarten students. It provides our parents the opportunity to come in and say goodbye, kind of do the drop off, and then we just do a lot of fun activities with the students. Where's the bathroom? Where's the drinking fountain? How do you get to the playground? That type of thing. And so right now we have 47 students signed up for kindergarten. 36 of the 47 signed up for camp. So it's not a requirement, but over the last couple of years, more and more will attend. Any questions on camp? Mr. Schneider, I don't know if I answered your question. Okay.
No, that's perfect.
As you know, you approved a new ELA reading curriculum for Burt Rainey, and that has arrived. I would estimate that we received over 200 boxes. For the K-5, it came on 2 different semis, 4 pallets. They have all been inventoried, stamped, and distributed to staff. Thank you to Nicole for doing that. So staff have already, most of them have already spent a half a day just getting in, looking it over, and then our first set of training is actually the afternoon of the first day of back to school. So that will really be their first hands-on. And then behind the scenes, I'm working on getting all the kids entered, staff entered, a variety of things with the online piece. Just a quick update on the READ Act. The screener for 412 as of this morning still was not out. That was something that, you know, we were hoping to know last spring, so that still has not been published. As far as the elementary, right now, we did our first training for our screener, which is called FastBridge, back in June, and our second one will be on Monday, the 19th, a week from today. And then there's 2 more already scheduled throughout the year.
Would you mind just kind of maybe explain to them what a screener is?
Yeah.
Just very briefly.
Yeah. So the screener basically will do, I believe we have 5 categories in literacy that it will test students on based on their age. So like in kindergarten, you know, it would go to Ron and it would find out what letters does he know, what letters does he not know. It's sight words, nonsense words, letter sounds, and then it will give us a report. And so at our first screening, we all had to I picked one category that all staff that attended had to become certified in. And it was great because we actually all they have like pretend students online, and it records what you do, and then you get a score. And when you don't pass, you redo it, and you keep redoing it till you get it right. So a lot of hands-on, but basically that will give our classroom teachers in special ed a very detailed report on what that child knows and what they don't. And you probably recall the state identified mainly 2 that schools in the state of Minnesota can use. And how I see that is when we get kids that transfer in, for the first time ever, we're gonna have most likely some common data. I mean, we have a 50% chance of having common data versus local assessments that mean nothing to us, and we end up having to reassess. So I think it's gonna be very powerful for literacy for our students. You'll see a list of August events there. Questions for me?
Okay, thank you for the summary and the update.
Okay,
and-
good, thank you.
I just, with that screener there, I just didn't want it to be like, when we use acronyms and you
Right.
folks maybe don't understand what we're talking about, a lot of you can apply it to your same jobs, but.
That was helpful. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, I'm up, right?
Yes, you are up.
Okay, staffing update for middle school, high school, we added a para. Becky Bennett will be para for us. We still need some more para help, so if you know of anyone interested, have them come in and see one of us, that would be wonderful. Cell phone update, I think June was the last time we talked about the cell phone, new information, and on your screens you should see 3 different documents. The first one, I'm not sure which order they're in actually. One of them is a 2-pager that will give some more information about detailed information, and then the progressive consequences, and Lisa and Rich and I were able to make it use model policies and then frame it for it to work at Wyoming at
You
middle
have a
school.
link to that document, but I don't see it.
It's
Okay.
the cell phone,
It's a folder.
2024, it's a drive right underneath. the-
When will that go up to parents?
Yeah, I wasn't working on it.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow it's good. The main difference on this 2-pager is the 3rd bullet down on the left-hand side. Middle school students and high school students will be able to use their cell phones and all of those other things before and after the academic day. When they get here and they have that 30 to 40 minutes time frame, that's different from the elementary. They will not, because they're either over there or in the lunchroom, so that'll be different. And it really outlines the things that we always have wanted cell phones to never have. Locker rooms, using them during the lockdowns and fire drills, recording staff, recording students, those are all similar things. So that is that, and then we added the extenuating circumstances for any students that have medical conditions, so that's on there as well. Crystal drafted just this basic Facebook post. I've seen Facebook posts from nearly every school around here, very similar to what we're doing, or slight changes based on how they're gonna handle that. And then we have the parent 2-page letter that basically reiterates everything, but just in a little bit of more of a letter form for families. And they can reach out. I've only had positive people saying, thank you so much for doing this. The staff is excited about it. So, do you have any questions on any of that part?
So all the teachers need to be on the same page, correct? So they will all be doing the same, it's not like this teacher says you can have your cell phone, this teacher says you can't,
Right,
correct?
right.
Okay.
And that's one of the things as a staff we talked about. Fine,
Yes.
we want this, then what am I supposed to do? And I literally said, what would you like me to do then when I go into Sonia's room? And she's like, well, those kids were done and they could go on their phone. What's the consequence? So they'll still be taken away and, you know,
Good.
To deal with that.
You know, I think it will, if it's across the board, I think
Mhm.
it'll be a lot.
it really has to be. You're right, you're right, so. Anything else you wanna talk about cell phones?
Good luck.
Yep.
I think it's well explained and.
Yeah.
Yeah, the document was great.
Yeah.
So the phones have to be left in the locker, is that what I'm reading?
Or
through?
backpack.
Which they're not allowed to bring with class.
As staff, we've talked, a lot of people came back to me on that and said, you know, let's just back off on the backpacks a little bit. If we're gonna put this into place, then at least they would have that with them.
Because like we said, it's like half the lockers aren't working anyway.
Yeah,
So we can't put their backpacks in the lockers, so
so
one
good
thing
point.
at a
So
time.
they can have them with them, but they have to be in their backpack.
Yes.
All right, thanks for clarifying.
Yep. I did have a student stop me in last week. Crystal and I went to a lemonade stand a block away. And when we were coming back, the kid was walking by. I said, are you coming back? And he's like, you know, I'm just gonna get a burner phone and have it in my pocket, and then I'm gonna put it there. And I said, yeah, but we know those things. We already figured you all out, so I'm sure they'll try. It'll be fun.
Something good.
Yeah. So, part of our work this last year with Southwest Service Cooperative and Jen Schwankel, we talked a lot about student engagement and agency. And so it may seem silly, but we finally landed on a definition that we believe what is engagement at YME. And it was motivated classrooms actively contributing to learning. When it first started, it was students actively contributing to learning, but we didn't really think that encompassed everyone. Everyone needs to be involved and engaged, so. That follows up with instructional coaching for the math department. As you know, we purchased the math curriculum. Between Brandon Ramo and myself, we'll go through 3 cycles with every teacher throughout the school year. And a cycle isn't go in once and see things, you go in multiple times over a long period of time. With support, special ed, I met with them this morning. They all came in to talk about caseloads, and they will be pushing into classrooms instead of pulling out for math this year. Just another way to support and really get to know this curriculum that we believe in, so that'll be exciting. We're gonna continue working with engagement coaching, I guess I put it, with Jen Schwankel, a little bit of work with data with Eric, her husband, and work with the rest of the departments, but math is really gonna be focused on Brandon Ramo and myself, so. Advisory, we threw a bunch of different ideas about advisory. No one can ever seem to agree when it should be, where should we do it, how often should we do it. So I collected information from many area schools, and I think every one of them was different. And so the staff kind of shared their information. We're gonna still host it every single day, but we're gonna do a little bit of a schedule for advisory, and we are going to give a 0.5 credit. You'll earn, 0.25 throughout this, or was it is it a 0.5 or 1? Can't remember what we were in. What is that?
For 4 years?
Yeah.
Where you mean?
We were gonna give them 0.5, so. But that gives that a little bit more teeth, because kids were often skipping advisory. So on Mondays, we're gonna have more of an SEL curriculum with You Matter Mondays. It used to be called Ramp Up, you probably heard of that before. Grade checks are always gonna be on Tuesdays. We're gonna have, the kids really like the challenges between each other. The staff really loves the challenges between each other. So we created a vocabulary like Word Wednesday. It's gonna be a no word, it's K-N-O-W, not N-O. So every advisor's gonna have an account, and the kids are gonna be challenging other, kind of like Words with Friends. Remember Words with Friends and how we all got a little passionate about that. It's like that, but then they have leaderboards that can challenge schools around the area, and then we'll have different parties for people that are doing well in their challenges, so. And then, the staff in the middle school really wanted a book challenge, and I never really agreed with those when I was teaching, because Sonia's gonna read a 300-page book, and Rich is gonna read a 10-page book, and they both got a book. So, that was an example. So we're gonna do a 1,000,000-word challenge. So we have scan like QR codes throughout the building. The kids will go up to this QR with their Chromebooks, and they'll look at that, and they'll take a look at how many words are in that book versus how many books. So they'll get, and then they're gonna decide the prizes, what they want when they earn these different levels of words that they've read, so. And then Friday's fun. Not that we don't have fun on the other days, but it's scheduled for, we will have fun on Friday, so, just so you know that. Questions on advisory? You're always welcome to come in. My family has Words with Friends Classic, and we had sort of an argument last night because my son-in-law was driving to the Ozarks, and he was playing me and my husband, and I'm like, what are you doing right now? And he got like 76 points, and he's like, well, I'm driving to the Ozarks. And that's it, I'm done playing against you, because that's illegal, and I could not believe how passionate they are about these competitions, so. Anyways, that's an aside. The last thing that we're really excited about, and you probably have seen this on posts, our Devin Osmond, he likes to be called Mr. O, because I'll let him share with you why he likes to be called that instead of Mr. Oz, which a lot of kids wanted to call him that. He created an opportunity, right after he got hired, he called and said, can I try something with the U of M? Of course, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great, let's do it. And so he applied to become a part of the high school student marching band so he's gonna take the concert band on the first Saturday of the school year, which means they leave at like 3 a.m. on Friday night. Drive to cities, they practice, and then they go out in the safe tailgating area, not the other tailgating area, and they play out there before the game. And then they have all their practice sheets and their information, and then they get to watch the game. They get to perform with, I think there's a few other high school bands and U of M marching band. And at halftime, then they get to watch the rest of the game, and at the end of the night, he said the most fun is the end of the game, they all get to flood the field with everybody on there, and they have their own section where they get to continue playing. And he said, we're as popular as the football players. So our kids will be on the field with about 50,000 people watching the game, so, and they're so excited, so it's been pretty fun. You wanna chaperone that? Let me know. Yeah, at 2:30. So, but things are shaping up. We have, yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I've had a lot more time to think this summer, and so I'm really excited about this year. I think we're gonna make some big positive changes that I'll bring to you back in September, so. That's all I have.
I just have one question. Do you know when the schedules will be out?
Schedules are out, they're all gonna come email tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Everything's coming, not seniors quite yet. Leah's meeting with the seniors one-on-one, but everybody 6 through 11 will be tomorrow. Everything, yeah. Okay, waiting till after tonight.
When does Leah start the senior meetings? I have not seen anything about that.
I think next week, she was in all day today working on juniors, but I think next week, the following, I think it's next week. Do you know, Rich?
No, I don't.
I don't. It'll be very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I probably have her calendar somewhere.
Yeah. So, oh, I was supposed to also share, I don't know if you ever get this information, but we do have 2 foreign exchange students coming to the high school. One from Germany. I thought she was gonna be a volleyball player. She's very tall, but she's gonna play tennis. And then the other one was from,
I don't know where. The host families are Martins and
Smiths.
Smiths.
Kazar Smith.
Ours.
They're both girls. I thought the name was, I can't remember what it was.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, the one staying with Kazar will not get to participate in Minnesota State High School varsity events.
That's exciting too. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to the district report, Mr. Schneider.
All right, well, just to catch you up, Lisa and I have been talking quite a bit about the enrollment of our kindergarten. So we'll keep monitoring that. If we decide to add a 3rd section, we'll do that yet this week. Otherwise, unfortunately, we're gonna try and stay the course. It's hard, never a sweet spot when you go from 2 to 3 sections, but we want to be cognizant of the size of those classrooms, so. MSEA negotiations, the first thing on my report, we have a tentative agreement. We're still working through the red line. They have to vote on it, so we'll get the red line done, and then they get to vote on it, and then we would bring it back to you folks for approval. So you have kind of an idea of where it's at from my report there. Over 2 years, it's about a little over $280,000 in new money over the 2 years. So, coaching vacancies, we still have, we did have an assistant football coach, but we filled that, my bad. We have not filled our 2 assistant boys basketball coaching positions, so we're still looking for those. We do have 1 season to get through before we get there. E-learning communication, just so you know, in the past, we have approved that at this board meeting. That's no longer necessary in statute because we negotiated that with that group. And so we'll live by that, so that information will go out to families at the beginning of the school year. That's all the statute says. So after they've been inundated with all the back to school stuff, we'll probably wait a month or 2 and send that out. I don't think we're anticipating any snow days in the first couple months. So. Employee handbook, Denise and Tara and Jeremy have worked pretty hard on an employee handbook. We had that out last year. We've added some things in there that needed to be added, so we can communicate better with our employees. So that will be coming out to them. And so that's a very useful tool, and I believe I attached a copy of that so you can kind of see what all is included in my report. Policy committee meeting, I believe there's open house on the 28th. So that open house, we do have some things we need to cover as a group. Would you folks like to reschedule that meeting?
Considering that I'm just looking at the date and I am not able to attend, if that matters, I'd be
So
open to rescheduling.
So the 4th is out, if we kind of stay based upon the Wednesdays. I didn't even look at mine. The 11th is out. We could look at other days of the week other than, the 4th is out because we have that facilities analysis meeting that night. Thoughts?
Fairly open that time of year, so.
Me too.
I'm open, Tuesdays would be a little tight for me,
Okay.
so I'd avoid a Tuesday.
Second, a Monday is out, but in theory, the 16th would be available, if you folks are interested.
Yeah, that would work.
We have JV football and girls tennis away. Yeah, BBE,
That works for me. Yep.
okay? 5:30 on Monday, August 16th, work for everybody?
Wait, did you say August?
Or not August,
September.
September.
September. Okay, just making sure I was on the same.
At 5:30, did you say?
Yeah. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay, we will reschedule that to 5:30 on September 16th, so. Then, meal prices, so we were good with the USDA. You know, we approve a meal price and then we have to submit it to MDE, which kind of flows through USDA, impacts MDE. We were okay with all of that. Minimum price for breakfast for adults came out to $2.40 and lunch is $5. We have been charging $2.50 for breakfast. That makes it's a lot easier to pay if people are paying in cash. So we want to go with $2.50, which is what we approve. So just gives you kind of a heads up that we are going with what we approved in July. Mervat update, so we have a new director up there. He's hit the ground running. Pretty impressed with Dan. So you'll probably hear a little bit more as you go to those meetings, but we're working pretty intensely with them. Our topic this year is probably going to be around MTSS, and what that is that's that initial instruction that kiddos get in the classroom, making sure that that's good enough. That 80 to even 90% of our kiddos are getting it from that instruction. So that aligns pretty well with the projects we have going on here with literacy and math especially. So trying to make sure our teachers get the support in that area, learn a little bit about that high quality universal instruction is what's on. New teacher workshop. First of all, thank you to Lisa. She kind of heads up our, she heads up our professional development committee, and she has put together a new teacher workshop. That will be held August 20th and 21st. We do take our new staff and their mentors out to lunch at the Granite Run golf course. If you are interested in attending, just let us know. That starts at 11:45 out there. School district picks up the tab on that. So, right? Just let me know if you want to be there. We do have an unusually large number of new teachers, and so it will be a big, kind of a packed house, so to speak. Back to school workshop, that is August 27th through the 29th. We have a 7:45 a.m. all staff breakfast. We encourage board members to come and help serve. That's an opportunity for you to see them, even if you got to skedaddle right away. Jeremy is going to step in for Dawn and do the welcome. I think he's been practicing singing the school song, because that's traditional.
Several years or not.
That is not true. So,
That went really well.
I think I can handle it.
so thank you. If you can show up, that would be awesome. I think it sends a good message to our staff. So the principals have put a lot of work into both events, but Lisa kind of chairs that up. Enrollment report, like I said, you can see what happened there with the kindergartners, but I want to point out that I believe we're up from last year a little bit, based upon the most current enrollment report. So that's good. That's a good sign for us. Facilities meeting, that's scheduled for September 4th. We'll get posters out. I forgot to bring in the posters. You folks can have some posters and hang them up where you think. We'll try and get them out in the coming weeks, and Denise is going to get it in the paper, and we'll run that for 2 to 3 weeks there too. So get it on social media again, making sure the word gets out. Have a separate event for our staff at 3:15, and then an evening event. I believe we only have 3 people have filed for our 4 positions, right? So if you know of anybody that's still interested, tomorrow's the last day to file. Otherwise, write-ins would be welcomed, but if anybody's interested, please direct them to us. One of the big changes we're making over the summer here is Red Rover. We are adding a time card feature to our Red Rover. Red Rover is our absence management system. We needed to do that to be in compliance with some of the new laws where people can see what their real-time leave is. And so we're jumping into that. It is a ton of work for Tara in getting this put together. We have been using it with a couple groups, our food service, our custodians, and our 12-month admin assistants. We're going to roll it out to our paraprofessionals, liaisons, and the other admin assistant. There's a few more of them. It's going to be a learning curve. There might be some frustration by some people, but it's something we had to do. We kicked off fall sports today. Tennis, 22 plus participants, and we have 1 coach. So tomorrow, I'm going to give Tim the green light to get a second coach for those 22 kiddos. And only one of those kiddos is a sixth grader. So it's not falsely inflated. We have 5 seventh graders, 2 eighth graders, 6 ninth graders, 4 10th graders, and 4 11th graders, but no seniors. So that was girls tennis. Volleyball, we currently have 21 participants in grades 9 through 12. And we have an additional 18 in junior high. So good numbers there. Our junior high, or our 9 through 12 coaches, we have 3 coaches. So that's kind of a sweet spot for us. And 7th and 8th grade, we have 2 coaches. 7th and 8th graders are invited to the fall practice to get a little more intense coaching, get caught up. Some of the 7th graders will probably elect not to attend, which is normal. I mean, it's pretty fast paced for them when they haven't played. Some of them have not played organized volleyball. So we have 9 freshmen, 4 sophomores, 6 juniors, and what's that work out to? My math is slipping me. I can't believe I didn't put it in there. Are there 2 seniors? Yeah, 2 seniors. For football, grades 9 through 12, we have 36 participants, but we have 5 coaches. That's customary. We just about 5 years ago we had 6, and we've cut it down to 5 coaches. They do play 2 to 3 different levels on a given night. So there's 5 coaches at the varsity level, or 9 through 12. We have 2 junior high coaches. The bad part is we only have currently enrolled 10 junior high kiddos. We have 2 8th graders and 8 7th graders. We're hoping that number grows in the coming weeks. The big class with our football is our freshman has 18 students in it, 18 participants. So if we can keep pretty close to that number, it's likely that we will be a little bit more competitive just as a result. That's how big an impact numbers have on football. So sophomores, there's 10. Juniors, we only have 4, and seniors, we also have 4. So for a total of 36 at the high school level. Cross country, we have 12 participants total there. We only have 1 coach, but we have 2 of those are 6th graders, 2 7th, 2 8th, 2 9th, 2 10th, and 2 11th. And no seniors out for cross country. So, all right. Questions about any of that I reported on?
Great to see the numbers and be that,
Yeah, that's fun to hear.
funded,
Yeah, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Hopefully we see that in the winter season too.
Other questions for Mr. Schneider? All right, then we'll move on to committee reports. The activities committee met on August 7th. And we have it on board book. Anybody want to make any comments?
Laura, that was you and I
Yeah.
trying to read this without my reading glasses. There was talk, 9th graders being added to the state high school bylaws, which we said. What did we, where did we?
But it wouldn't be until next year.
Correct.
But it's
Right.
likely that it will pass overwhelmingly.
Camden conference update. Benson was trying to get in, they got voted down again. We talked about the parent activity committee meeting. Doesn't sound like it was a very good turnout. We thought maybe it could have had to do with the weather.
It was one of those stormy days.
The other big thing that we kind of talked about that Knapper shared was Region 3 football section seatings will go down to a 1-6 seating, and 7-8 will basically play themselves at the end of the year, just to play, and there's no advancement. And that's pretty close to what I've had to share, Laurel,
Yeah.
so somehow.
The other thing we talked about, it's like at the bottom of the second page, which I don't know when this will come into play, but is about digital ticketing for our events, which a lot of schools are moving to. And so we kind of talked about, how does that work? So I thought that was interesting too. So you would have, you purchase, now, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but you purchase your tickets and then, they would scan your phone as you're coming in rather than, paying per ticket when you come in. That's maybe a ways down the road, but we just, kind of talked about that and how that's set up. So that was interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the, especially even around here, like Wilmer is digital ticketing, so cashless transactions is kind of the way to go, but it's costly.
Were any of the, schools in like their Camden conference doing digital ticketing
Well,
yet?
I don't know about Camden, but he did say they are using it for sections, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
like, and I think, for some reason, didn't he say on a video? Maybe I missed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be slower. I really think it's gonna be within the next year. We'll get forced that direction, or pushed that direction.
In the updates here, so something about spring dance tryouts are new, what does that mean?
That was voted on and approved, right?
Yeah.
Because it's contact.
Goes on with contact, the bylaws say?
So those of us that aren't dance parents will then.
Means you gotta get more creative.
Yeah, it's just,
So they
so unfortunately, you're gonna have to anticipate what you're gonna have for participant, because I'm not a dance parent too, but I think they pick out their music and start choreographing real early. But I'm assuming you base that choreography upon the strengths of what you have for talent. I mean, if somebody can
I
do
think,
it.
I think that's a piece of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that would be different apparently. Other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the superintendent evaluation summary. So, kind of pursuant to, the school board procedure is that when we do a superintendent survey evaluation, we have a closed session, which we did in July, and review it with, Mr. Schneider, and, which we did last month, and then at this meeting, we do a summary type, of that discussion and the survey. So, we did all do, an email summary survey. All 7 of us weighed in, and I thought I would just, read the categories that we, all rated Mr. Snyder on: budget, development and maintenance, human resources, personnel, internal communications, personnel concerns, visibility and approachability, hiring and staff development, school improvement, professional knowledge of teaching and learning, culture of cooperation, support for students, interactions with staff, students, and community, diverse communities, and cultural competency. Some of his strength areas were personnel and visibility and approachability, and he did receive an overall favorable evaluation. There are things that he wants to continue to work on and strive for, and had set some goals for himself. One was to provide leadership to strengthen school community communications and relationships, and had various ideas on how to do that. as well as goal number 2, providing leadership to strengthen academic performance through various methods, those ACT and MCA scores, trying to improve those and work with staff. And goal number 3 was to provide leadership to effectively and efficiently use school district financial resources, working on the budget balance and long-term capital plans, and the influence it has on taxpayers. We discussed doing like a mid-year evaluation sometime the end of this year, and then I'm doing another end of school years, or end of year survey right around March, April, and again, the end of the year, kind of in that May, June area. I think it was overall a good discussion, and we talked about things that were going well and still working towards forward growth on various things. And if anyone has any other comments they'd like to make, I think that was kind of the gist of our summary with Mr. Shiner. Thank you for the work you're doing, and we'll just all work together to continue moving forward on various things. All right. So that will move us to new business. So we have one resignation under personnel items, the resignation of custodian Sean Steffen. Do we have a motion to approve that resignation?
Motion to approve by Semple.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We also have several new hires, which is super exciting. We'll take them all together, but I'll just read them. We've got middle school, high school paraprofessional Becky Bennett, which this is something we alluded to. BRE paraprofessional Paige Cole, custodian Kelly Aliker. I think I said that right. Head volleyball coach Ari Stokes. Again, I apologize if I didn't say that right. Assistant football coach Josh Gurton, volunteer dance coach Mia Ochoa, and head baseball coach Nick Richter. Is there a motion to approve these employments?
Motion by Blunt for approving new hires.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Welcome to Wyoming. Item 2 is to approve the 2024-25 acceptable use policies for Burt Rainey Elementary and YME Middle High School.
So nothing substantially changing in those. We had approved that we were going to stay the same for our cost for our insurance. And so that's really the only fluctuation that you might have seen, but we did not change that. So.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the acceptable use policies then as presented?
Motion to approve by Semple.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or further discussion on that item? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3 is to approve the 2024-25 Memorandum of Understanding and Local Education Agency Agreement with Prairie 5 Head Start.
Okay, this is an annual thing. It's just displayed there for you to look over.
Any specific questions by anyone on that? Is there a motion to approve this agenda item?
I'll motion to approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4 is to approve the 2024-25 Child Care Food Program contract for vended meals regarding Prairie 5 Head Start.
So we don't have a lot of latitude in setting those amounts. They tell us what those amounts will be, but it gives you an idea of where we're sitting. They set those amounts, and that's just what we have to charge.
Sure.
Not much bargaining to it.
All
I'll
right,
make that motion.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second by Zempel.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5 is to approve the 2024-25 agreement with Countryside Public Health.
As you can see from that agreement, there's some things that are unbillable and some are billable. Pretty close to exactly what it was. They didn't change anything from billable to unbillable. They just, like scoliosis screening isn't listed out separate. It's under some of those other areas, so just minor adjustments in verbiage there. But again, we don't have a lot of control over that agreement. It just gives you an idea of what they would charge us for. We do most of our own screening samples.
Right? Is there a motion to approve that agreement with Countryside Public Health?
Motion by LeBlanc to approve.
And a second?
Second by Richard.
Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. There were no policy updates, no discussion items, no correspondence. Upcoming events would be the Paraprofessional Conference in Benson on August 14th, New Teacher Workshop August 20 and 21. Building and Grounds Committee meeting meets August 21st at 5:30. 6th grade boot camp is set for August 21st. Back to School Staff Development is August 27th through the 29th. Back to School Open House is August 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. Policy Committee meeting was set for August 28th, and we just moved it to
September 16th.
September 16th at 5:30. First day of the 2024-25 school year begins September 3rd, 2024. Wyoming Facilities Meeting, September 4th, in the auditorium at 6:30 p.m. for the general public. Early dismissal, Teacher PLC, September 6th at 1:15. Our next board meeting would be September 9th at 6 p.m. Anything we missed? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned.
Very good. On the record.
Yay, good job.